What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video, and in this one, we are going to be talking about Kendrick Bourne. We're going to be talking about this whole Kendrick Bourne situation. We've talked about the trade rumors before. We're going to hit on that a little bit again, but we're going to talk about why he essentially only got 2 snaps. Yeah, you heard that right. 2 snaps against the Miami Dolphins week 1. Why is he not getting play time? What should we expect going forward? Is he someone that could be traded before the trade deadline? I'm breaking down all of this with some news that we have gotten, some very valid reports that put a lot of this into perspective. Now, guys, before we get into that, please make sure you leave a big like on this video and comment your thoughts about this whole Kendrick Bourne situation in the comment section below, guys. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm more than you could possibly imagine. You guys interacting with this content, leaving a like, commenting your thoughts in the comment section, and getting a conversation going, it actually helps the channel out a lot more than you guys think, because it tells YouTube that you guys are viewing it, you guys are liking it, and because of that, it will suggest the page to more Patriots fans, more NFL fans, and we can continue to grow this page and the Patriots Global family. So do your boy a favor, leave a like, and leave a comment down below. Now, guys, like I said, Kendrick Bourne not really involved with this game at all. In fact, he was not given a single snap till later on in the fourth quarter. By then, this game was pretty much away from the Patriots, especially from their tendencies and their consistencies throughout the game. You knew that they just were not going to come back. Essentially, at that point, it was a loss. Kendrick Bourne was suited up and, again, did not get any snaps till later on into the fourth quarter, played 3% of offensive snaps, again with 2. And again, at that point, if you literally just were not going to play Kendrick Bourne, why did you not just make him inactive for the game? And yeah, that would have still made me pissed, but at that point, at least you have another player that you could potentially get on the field, because clearly you're not playing Kendrick Bourne. It's very surprising to see that Lil Jordan Humphrey, who at the time was not signed to the 53-man roster, at that time, Lil Jordan Humphrey was promoted from the practice squad, and he played more than Kendrick Bourne. Not by much, but Lil Jordan Humphrey played a total of 5% of offensive snaps against the Dolphins with 3 total snaps. Again, 1 more than Kendrick Bourne, but still played more than him. And in those two snaps that Kendrick Bourne had, he connected with Mac Jones on one of the biggest plays, one of the best plays we saw from this team the entire game, and one of the best plays offensively for a, I believe, 43-yard reception. Now, after the game, there were reports that were coming out, a lot of reports coming out about this Kendrick Bourne situation. I believe that it was Tom E. Curran that came out essentially with this report that Kendrick Bourne didn't get a lot of playing time because he's in Matt Patricia's doghouse. Guys, please hear that again. Matt Patricia's doghouse. All of Pats Nation was going off on Bill Belichick, okay, in my live stream. Because as you guys know, after every game, I will be going post-game with another Patriots fanatic to break down the game, and everyone was off with Belichick's head. Belichick needs to get fired. A few days later, I went live on Instagram with that same guy, and the comments were getting flooded with, when's Belichick leaving? When's Belichick going? Can we trade Belichick and get compensation? And while I don't think Belichick has been perfect, this Kendrick Bourne situation really isn't a Bill Belichick decision. Bill Belichick is trusting his coaching staff because he has a lot on his plate, other areas he needs to, divulge and coach up and, account for. And he trusts Matt Patricia. And at the end of the day, this Kendrick Bourne situation, this Kendrick Bourne benching came down to Patricia, not Bill Belichick. Of course, at the end of the day, who has the bigger say, Belichick or Patricia? It's obviously Belichick, but again, at the end of the day, Belichick doesn't know exactly all the reins that Matt Patricia does at this point, because although Belichick's more involved with the offense now than we've seen in past years, he's not completely hands-on with the offense. He's still putting those hands in the hands of Matt Patricia. And now, why is this? Why is Kendrick Bourne in the doghouse of Matt Patricia? And unfortunately, guys, this goes back to well over a month now from the whole Panthers joint practice, Panthers preseason game. That is where the issues with Kendrick Bourne essentially started. Now, Kendrick Bourne did have more of a slow offseason. Now, last offseason, his first year with the Patriots, he didn't necessarily break out. Kendrick Bourne is just not one of those players that pops out during training camp in the preseason. It's just not his game. But as we all know, he was one of those guys for the first fight that happened in joint practice with the Panthers. Kendrick Bourne was one of the guys that got in along with Christian Wilkerson, was throwing some punches, essentially got thrown out of practice. There was also a point Belichick was barking at him in joint practice with the Panthers, same day that Kendrick Bourne actually got kicked out for fighting due to a equipment issue. He was basically trying to look drippy. He did something that was against NFL code for their equipment and essentially had to miss an offensive snap. Belichick wasn't happy. And then, of course, that whole issue came up when the Panthers game appeared and Kendrick Bourne wasn't there. A good amount of starters actually played throughout that first half for the Patriots. Kendrick Bourne didn't just not suit up and not play. Kendrick Bourne was not present at all in the stadium. And it actually came out that the reasoning for that was because he was sent home from the game because he was late to the pre-game squad offensive meeting where essentially coaches, in this case Matt Patricia, basically come in, last minute breakdown, they take attendance, all that, and Kendrick Bourne was just tardy. And again, with Matt Patricia taking over, it's going to be different than last year. Different packages, the way that Matt Patricia views certain players as wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 to wide receiver 3. And essentially who he views being in those packages. You know, what tight ends does he view having in 12 personnel? What if it's 13 personnel? What if it's just 11 personnel? Who does he have in those spots, and who does he have ranked, again, from your wide receivers to your tight ends to your running backs to your offensive linemen? And it looks like specifically for Matt Patricia, Kendrick Bourne is farther down on his list than, let's say, Josh McDaniels had him at this time last year. And guys, something to keep in mind is that, you know, we all want to see Kendrick Bourne more on the field, but to expect him to play 100% of offensive snaps per game, or 90%, or honestly even 80%, it's not going to happen. I think that Kendrick Bourne should play 80 to 85% of offensive snaps game in and game out. That's just me personally. I think that he's one of the fastest players on this Patriots offense. I think that he's one of the only players that gives you the after the catch ability. I think really other than Kendrick Bourne, Jonnu Smith's the only guy that's going to give you yards after the catch. He just fits this system very well, and his connection with Mac Jones is one of the best. I would say probably Hunter Henry, Kendrick Bourne, and Jacoby Myers are the top 3 guys there for Mac Jones. And while this offensive line is struggling, needs to get the ball out quick, who's going to do that for him? His top 3 guys. But if we look at 2021, he had a total of 573 snaps for the Patriots. And at the end of the season, he only played about 52%. 52% of Patriots offensive snaps from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. So expecting him to go from 52% last year to 190 or even 80% is just not logical, although I do agree he needs to be playing more than 52%. And now comes up the big question, what happens from here? And honestly, guys, from everything we're hearing, the reports that are coming out, I don't expect this to be something that happens again. You know, 1, I don't think that Kendrick Bourne is going to be traded. 2, I don't think that this is going to be something where he only plays 2 snaps ever again. I don't imagine it being this low. Kraft came out and he was just vocally unhappy. He was talking to, you know, some of the reporters and just people overall at the game, giving them that vibe. Yeah, you know, this was a one-time thing. You know, this isn't going to happen again. You know, Kraft wants Kendrick Bourne on the field. He has a good relationship with Kendrick Bourne, and he knows how vital Kendrick Bourne is. Not to mention that although Kendrick Bourne is on a very contract-friendly deal, he does still have a decently sized cap number. And again, at the end of the day, if you're going to have a UDFA and a Lil Jordan Humphrey, who's a practice squad elevation, play more than Kendrick Bourne, what are you doing? Because something's not right there. And this is something Kraft usually doesn't do. Kraft doesn't step in. He's not Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, where he's, you know, game in and game out vocally expressing his thoughts, his feelings, and what he wants to happen. Kraft stands by and lets Belichick do what Belichick feels is best. And the fact that Kraft is kind of stepping forward rather, and saying, now Kendrick Bourne is going to be playing, this will not happen again, I think says a lot going forward. And actually, Kendrick Bourne was actually asked, how do you feel this week in practice getting ready for the Steelers versus, this whole offseason and even last week getting ready for the Dolphins? And he said he feels much, much better, and that he felt like this was just a very, very good week of practice for him. Which is also interesting because about a week or two ago in another interview, he was kind of asked, what's going on with you? Why are you not getting play time? What's really behind that? And he said it really starts with me, and that he needs to play better in practice. So the fact that he's saying that he needs to be playing better in practice, for him to come out this week and saying that he had a really good week of practice, I would expect Kendrick Bourne to be a lot more involved for this game. Again, I'm not expecting 60, 70, 80, 90, 100% of the offensive snaps, but I do expect a big jump from the 2 snaps he had in this game. So what are your guys' thoughts on this Kendrick Bourne situation? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video, guys, and of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news and coverage. I appreciate you guys for watching, and don't forget to tune into the channel live immediately, maybe like 10-15 minutes after the Patriots versus Steelers game, live on this channel, where me and another Patriots enthusiast reporter are going to be breaking down this game and taking some of your questions for about an hour. But like always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and go Pats.